Okay, just quickly, I'm going to add some more information about processing. This is under this section of the document. They actually call this one Hello World. It's like a typical kind of computer program, computer programming, like your first computer program that you'd make. I guess the idea was it was like a bit of a joke, maybe that the computer would just pop up and say text, hello world, like it was talking to you. But in processing, there's uh, a different kind of way of doing the first program. So the idea is that we can draw a line as our first program, but I think we're already past that um, in the basic sense. So we'll move on past that section. And the one that I wanted to bring up actually was the different ways that you can show color. So you can just say single color numbers. So 255 would be white, but you could also say 3-digit um, numbers and three of them. So there's red, green, and blue. Um, in this case, red, green, and blue at their full capacity up to 255 is white. But if you change those colors, like 255, 128, 0, then you're going to get bright orange. You could also do a web color, and you can change the transparency. So the transparency is also on that scale from 0 to 255. And if you're wondering how to come up with these numbers easily, you could go to a color picker on Google. So if you just Google color picker, you'll see loads of different colors, and you can just choose them from um, the image, and then it'll give you the RGB color code, which is, in this case, red is 217, 41, and 73. But if you want to go like full red, you'd have to go to the top right and to the end here, which is 25500. So that's how to select colors. In this program, we're going to do some interactivity with the mouse. So if you were to copy this program exactly the way they've got it written, from that link, it would look something like, not like that one, like this one. So if we click play, we get a 400 by 400 window, and we have this kind of line drawing happening. Okay. You could change the location of where the line starts. So right now the line is starting at pixel 150 and 25. And the line is following the end of the mouse, and it's just repeatedly drawing those, but you could change that location. One place you could put it is in the middle if you wanted, so you can actually do the middle by typing width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. And if we do that now, we should see the line starting in the middle. Okay, so it's kind of more of like a star pattern. So that's by doing width and height divided by 2. That takes the size of the window, whatever you've set it as. In this case, 400, 400, but I could change it to 500, 500, and it would still keep it at the middle because it automatically does that calculation for me. Okay. The next thing I want to do is show what if we were to take the background and move it down into the draw section. So it's not happening at the setup anymore, it's happening in the drawing section. If I do this, let's see what happens. Okay, so it's just the orange background and there's no lines anymore. So my question for you is why? Why, in this particular way that I wrote it, is the line not showing up? So if I change the location of the background and move it up above the line, the way the computer understands this code is that it draws the background first and then the line. And then it continues repeating drawing the background and the line. So if I were to play it like this, you're not going to see those lines continuously drawn. It's going to be line, background, and on repeat. So it's just going to draw a single line wherever the mouse is, starting from the middle. So the challenge I want you to try and do is to take a code similar to this and think about how would you draw something where if you clicked the mouse, it would leave a line. So the mouse would follow the line, but if you clicked it, it would draw the line on the page and leave it there. So how would you draw a code similar to that? And then I'll show you my version. So I want you to think about it for a bit. Maybe ask a friend or research or ask me, but pause this and try and draw a line so that when you click it, it stays on the screen. And then when you unclick, it's just drawing nothing kind of. And then every time you click, it makes a line. Okay, so my version of this code looks something like this. So there's some options in processing where you can add a mouse pressed feature. So you have to make this kind of, if the mouse is pressed, do this thing, otherwise do this thing. So I want you to look at my code here, see what you think is actually happening, and then try it on your own. I will copy and paste it into the Edpuzzle link. Okay, so what's happening? Let's click play and see. Okay, so my color for the background I changed to be a lighter color so it's easier to see. It's still drawing lines actually, but when I click, it changes to a different color. I could change that to be something like this. So actually, if I wanted to make the other line blend in with the background, all I would need to do is copy the color of the background, change the color of the line here where I'm not clicking, and then if I click play now, I'm going to see that when I just move my mouse around, it doesn't actually draw lines that I can see. It's drawing lines, but they're the same color as the background. But when I click, it draws lines. And if I unclick, it's still drawing lines, and it kind of makes this crazy eraser looking pattern. So it's still drawing lines, they're just the same color as the background. And then if I click again, it makes those white lines, or whatever color you decide to choose. So that's just another feature, the mouse pressed feature. And then this statement, if the mouse is pressed, do this thing, or else do this thing. Okay, so this is just an example code of something you could try. That's it for now. I want you to experiment and mess around with colors and lines and locations and things like that. Take some screenshots and add them to your portfolio. And some of the code that you need is in here, and some of the code I will paste for you on the Edpuzzle. Thanks.